President Trump continues to falsely claim that mail-in voting can't be trusted because of fraud. One Colorado official, though, says that is not the case. In fact, his state has a track record to prove it. CNN's Lucy Kafanov has the story.
This machine here processes 20,000 ballots an hour. It's really loud. We would not be able to be talking this closely right now to it.
George Stern is an elections administrator for Jefferson, Colorado's fourth largest county, located in the western suburbs of Denver.
So everything here is out in the open.
Everything's out in the open.
He's invited the president and CNN to tour the county's mail ballot processing facility. His message?
There's no massive fraud, that our elections are secure as much as they are accessible.
All registered Colorado voters automatically receive a ballot in the mail. You can still vote in person, but an overwhelming majority of ballots, including 99.3% in this year's state primary, have consistently been returned by mail or ballot drop box.
Everyone knows mail-in ballots are a disaster.
This week, the president sued Nevada to contest the expansion of mail-in voting, tweeting in July, mail-in ballots will lead to massive electoral fraud and a rigged 2020 election.
We've been doing universal vote by mail in Colorado for 7 years, and we can say with certainty that that is not the case.
That's because of what Stern says is a rigorous system of checks and balances. For a mail-in ballot to be counted, the envelope must be signed. A bipartisan team of election judges, trained by FBI handwriting analysts, then compares the envelope signature to those stored on file.
If there isn't a signature that matches, that's getting pushed off to the side, and it's going to be investigated by the district attorney's office.
Data from the Conservative Heritage Foundation shows 9 instances of voter fraud out of millions of ballots cast since Colorado began voting by mail in 2013.
9's too many. Right? We want that number 0. But that's 9 out of 16 million. That's literally less than 1 in a million.
In June, the president falsely claimed that millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. But Colorado election officials say that's also not a concern. An adversary would have to mimic everything perfectly, from a signature on file to the ballot's size, style, paperweight, and even the envelope it's mailed in, all of which differ from county to county and change in each election cycle. Another bonus?
Everything is paper, right? When you have mail ballots, you've got paper ballots, and we've got a paper trail, and we store that paper trail for 2 years after the election. Our voting equipment, our voting machines, never connected to the internet. They never have been, they never will be. Our counting equipment, never connected to the internet.
Which helps prevent hacking.
It would be a total joke.
Another false claim by the president that mail-in voting benefits Democrats, tweeting Republicans should fight very hard when it comes to statewide mail-in voting. Tremendous potential for voter fraud, and for whatever reason, doesn't work out well for Republicans.
Tonight, we shook up the Senate.
In the 2014 general election, the first election after Colorado switched to mail-in voting, Republicans flipped a U.S. Senate seat, won a majority in the state Senate, gained seats in the state House, and won 3 of 4 statewide offices.
We've seen that there is no partisan advantage. We've seen record voter turnout from Democrats and Republicans and unaffiliated voters in our elections.
The president has also suggested that election results could be delayed for months.
We actually deliver most of our results on election night every time because of this vote-by-mail system.
So in some ways, the mail-in voting actually makes the process faster.
In Colorado, it unquestionably makes it faster.
How easy is it to fake a ballot from someone who's deceased?
So dead people cannot vote, and they do not vote in Colorado. We regularly update our voter registration list.
Somebody got a ballot for a dog.
Well, my dog walks to vote with me every single election, but he's yet to get a ballot or turn one in himself.
Lucy Kafanov, CNN, Golden, Colorado.
This is such a great piece. This is such an important piece. People need to find out the facts here about mail-in voting, because there's so much crap that's being said out there. People need to know that fraud in voting is incredibly small in general. It's a little bit higher in mail-in voting, but incredibly small still, and there is literally a paper trail. And people need to separate, I'm sorry, because I care a lot about this.
No, I agree with you.
People need to separate fraud with the issues of the post office being overwhelmed with a lot of people mailing in their ballots. It may be a concern that a lot of people mail in ballots and the post office will be taxed. Then help. Then figure out a way to help the post office to process the ballots more. That in and of itself is not fraud, and people like the president who say it is, they are lying. People have got to go learn about this. Your lives may depend on it, not to mention your votes.
Absolutely. No, it's so important. It was such an excellent piece by Lucy and her team out there. And I agree with you 100%. It's so important to not only call out the lies and let people know, right, what's true and what's not, but also to highlight just all of the security measures that Lucy went through in her piece there, that the election official went through with her about how they are secure, and the FBI team that trains people to recognize the signature. I mean, seems like they figured it out.
It is. And there's one thing that you and I, the media, and all the American people need to start to do to prepare for Election Day, which is to get ready to be patient. It's okay if it doesn't get counted super quickly. It can take some time. You want it to be right. It doesn't matter whether it's fast.
Totally agree. Also, can we just say that dog's adorable?
Yes. Most importantly, what a cute dog.
Yeah, my dog might come with me to vote this year. Who knows? Get ready, Dakota.
All right, coming up.